for the prayer and pledge, please.
Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Thy will be done. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I now call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the Hancock County Commission, March 7th, 2013. Eleanor, you have a new employee there today, don't we?
We do. This is Stephanie. She's only been with us about a month, but she will be doing the minutes now. So.
Ooh. Her face is getting red there, Michael, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good to have you here, Stephanie. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good. Do we have any citizen presentations today? Anyone like to speak to the County Commission? Having none, we'll move on to correspondence. Paula Calvert, Change Incorporating, requesting approval for the proclamation for West Virginia Saves Week. Paula?
Yes, there's a proclamation in front of you. West Virginia Saves is a nonprofit organization that encourages fiscal responsibility, especially in times that we're incurring now that with such difficulty. The importance of having emergency savings, retirement savings, is something that can mean the difference between a small emergency and a financial crisis. So we would like Hancock County to join our efforts in asking its citizens to become fiscal responsibility as something they want to take on for the next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. You know I like to save money.
You still have the first dollar you ever made, I can tell you that right now.
No, but I got about 25 cents of it, but I don't have the whole thing. I move to approve the request for the proclamation from West Virginia Saves Week.
So moved. We'll make that motion. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thomas DiCaprio, attorney, Frankovich and Anatakis, notice of successor trustee sale encourages attendance at the sale to protect the county's interest. Paula, you can talk about that too, because this is our second one in the month. This is a trustee sale on a piece of property that obviously they're asking us to be there because of the change issue with the home consortium. Am I correct?
That's correct. Home Consortium has a grant program that allows individuals, if they're income eligible, and if the house passes HUD standards, to have a loan which will turn into a grant if they complete the program and live in the home successfully for 5 years. The two that you're referring to, individuals have unfortunately have some hard times to which their house will be foreclosed. The program has a stipulation that the $10,000 loan is a second lien upon their house. So upon sale of these two homes, the Hancock County Commission will be protected. As funds are distributed, the first lien will go, of course, to the mortgage lender. The second amount will go to reimburse the home funds. Those two individuals that foreclose, unfortunately, will lose their home, but the amount of money will be put back into the Hancock County funds to redistribute to other individuals.
Thank you very much.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Just thinking out loud.
Okay.
The correspondence says, encourage our attendance at the sale to protect the county's interest. Counselor, what are
Typically, the bank won't put more than is owed on it. There's nobody else there. There's no additional funds to distribute to the county.
But we couldn't guide them.
You can't guide them. You can just bid more than what is owed on the first lien, in which case you could become the priority lender. If all that is derived is less than is owed on the first, there's nothing for you.
I'll take a motion to make that a matter of record.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Mark Bignevit, Hancock County Solid Waste Authority, report of the activities at the Recycling Center for 2011-2012. They are in your packet.
And they are going up.
Yes, they are. 27 tons of mingled glass, plastic, steel, and aluminum. Mixed paper and cardboard, 35 tons. You can see each one of those is going up, so I think it's pretty much a success out there. I'll accept the motion to make that a matter of record.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Judge Martin Gahn, First Judicial Circuit, inquiring on the status of the request for accommodations under ADA. Mr. Schwartzman, just so you'll know, and for the court's record, Silling Associates has been, we've talked to them. They are putting together some paperwork to give us, that will give us some ideas about whether we can do a elevator or not in this courthouse, but we, as of today, we do not have that information in our hands.
So they're doing the evaluation.
Absolutely. They were actually being used by the state of West Virginia on that courthouse securities. I think, were they not, Mr. Alonji? Yes.
They're doing the whole state. And we just have, I think they started in the north, so we were probably one of the first ones done.
So they're putting together some stuff, but I have not received that yet. Senator Ed Boeing, or ex-Senator Ed Boeing, requesting a $7,500 match for a special trout stocking within the fishing streams of Hancock County. And we have been a part of this before.
That's correct. And if memory serves me, did we not take that monies, not out of our general revenue, general fund, but didn't we take it out of a hotel motel tax?
We did.
Cindy? That way it's really not
Tourism.
promoting tourism.
This is for the new funding year. We just got everything settled on the ones we did last year.
Okay. So I will move to approve that request and earmark the funding be taken from the hotel motel tax.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Opposed, the ayes have it. County Commission, new business. Approval to pay Ann Spectic $1,140 for a longevity deficiency.
Mr. Zelinski, I have some questions.
Yes, sir.
Can you, do we have two issues today? We were talking about, this is longevity, this is not vacation days,
That's correct.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. There was some question about, are longevity and vacation days prorated, or is it off your hire date? Ms. Elner, do you?
Hire date.
It's the hire date.
Which is what I'm going by.
Okay, so this is a previous commission approved that you cannot cash in your vacation days until you achieved your hire date for the year. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right, because you might accrue, just on paper, you accrue the days up till your year's anniversary, and then you're eligible to take the year after.
But I'm talking about after, I understand the first year, because we could hire Commissioner Greathouse, he could work for a month, quit and cash in his days, he hasn't accrued them yet. But after 1 year, shouldn't we prorate those days? You've earned them. Why would you have to wait until,
Well, you haven't earned them, you would be earning them the second year.
I know, but you can earn them by the month.
You earn them by the
You
month.
could earn them by the month. So why would I have to work 12 more months if in my 11th month, I got another job opportunity? Wouldn't we owe them 11 months worth? Versus you can't cash in until at the end of your second hire date. That's what I don't understand.
Well, you couldn't according to current policy. You could change the policy, but you can't according to current policy.
Correct.
Yeah, I think
I'm just
what-
trying to set a foundation.
Right.
I think what Ms. Straight was saying is that it's been custom over the years to basically do it that way.
Right, and I'm not blaming or pointing, I'm just trying to clarify that in 21st century America, I think we need to change that. Whereas after the 12th month, then the days you accrue, you could be compensated. You wouldn't have to be and actually work 2 full years to get those V days. Does that make sense, Commissioner?
It's fine with me.
So could you write that up for us for the next meeting so we could take a look at that?
Sure.
I think it's only fair to our employees that if we owe them, we owe them.
And we'll have a elected officials meeting before that meeting on the 28th. And we'll talk about it at that time with our other elected officials, to see if there's anything that we miss in the policy that might jump up to crop us. Is that okay?
This issue is actually longevity though, which is separate from.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I need approval.
There's no correlation there, though, right?
No.
The other-
Between the higher date and longevity?
Longevity has always, that first year, you don't get your longevity till your anniversary date.
Okay.
And what the county commission did prior years to make it easier for the departments so that they didn't have to like continuously remember to update. They've just given every July 1st, you get your longevity that you've earned. And apparently there was a problem with hers the first year that happened to her, which I have to, because my figures aren't jiving with what they had, so. That's what happened with hers, apparently.
Okay. All right, so, and I make the motion to approve that request to pay Ann her $1,100, if I put my glass on, I can read it, $1,140.
Motion to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of resolution recognizing and supporting the Business Development Corporation of the Northern Panhandle as the lead economic developer and approving a pledge of $30,000 toward a grant from the West Virginia Development Office, LED grant.
BDC's been in the news a lot lately.
The Business Development Corporation has been in the news a lot lately.
Beach Bottom.
Beach Bottom.
So I think they're doing a great job, and I move to approve that.
And we met with them again today and talked about the ball fields, TS&T, and all the different areas that we have here. And this is something we've done for several years. Our $30,000 is matched by the state, which makes it $60,000. Brooke County gets $30,000, which is matched by the state, which makes it $60,000. Another $60,000, and then the city of Weirton throws in a $30,000, some other communities. That's what funds the BDC. So it's a Brooke Hancock
Right.
Development Corporation. So we have a motion out there. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approve request to pay Marcy J. Griskovich for her accrued personal time in the amount of $820.26 due to her resignation effective March 8th, 2013.
Move to approve.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval to pay Michael W. Lucas III, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney, for 4 additional days in the amount of $538.44.
Move to approve.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. I have one more under the prosecuting attorney.
Okay.
And this was sent to us February 25th. It did not hit this. It's please be advised, and we have on it, that Marcy J. Griskovich, who resigned March 8th, 2013, Mr. Davis has asked that he be allowed to hire Jack Wood. Mr. Wood is a full-time employee, we're entitled to full benefits. Mr. Wood's starting salary, based upon his long experience and qualification, would be $70,000. So we have a request to hire Mr. Woods today from Mr. Davis, and I'll make a copy of this available to the press as soon as I can get a copy made for you.
I will move to approve that request made by the prosecuting attorney's office and hiring Jack Wood.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Office of Technology and Communication, requesting approval to hire Jason Miller as a full-time dispatcher at the E911 Center effective immediately.
Going a bit fast again.
I'm sorry, I'll slow
Oh.
down. I know.
Commissioner Davis isn't here to help out, you know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Move to approve.
Mr. Zelinski, was Mr. Miller a part-time guy moving up?
He's been part-time now for probably the last 5 months and has shown exceptional qualities in moving in, has basically gotten all 3 dispatch stations down and is eligible for moving into full-time position.
Will we be hiring more part-times now that we're moving up?
No, sir, we're
Okay.
not at this point in time.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Requesting approval to enter into the next sequential contract agreement with the L.R. Kimball Architect and Engineering Firm for the construction phase of the OEM 911 and Health Department project. Mr. Zelinski, would you explain that, please, for everyone, while Mr. Schwartzmiller is doing some work there?
Yes, sir. We are currently at the 90% construction phase of the project. This means that all of the plans, the Equipment lists for both buildings have been put together at essentially 90%. We're reviewing any last changes to that. This next phase that you would be voting on today would move us to where we complete the plans 100%, and then the next step would be to present to the commission a package that would be out for bid for a contractor.
Any idea when we might start construction on this?
We are very hopeful that if by approving today's next phase, that we would have in front of the commission at the April 4th meeting the ability to advertise for a contractor. Hopefully, we could have a shovel in the ground the first part of May.
Really?
You would stake your job on that?
No, sir.
Would you like to make a little wager? So this is the last phase before it's
Put
point of no return.
point of no return, getting a contractor in to bid on the two buildings.
Move to approve the request.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Request approval of 2 changes to the county employee policy manual.
Mr. Zelinski.
Mr. Zelinski?
Yes, sir. The first change to the policy manual deals with the selecting and hiring of new employees. This is to update the language in the policy manual, removing referred to as appropriate medical and replacing it with successful drug screening for all new employees hired into the commission. The second change would be into the technology section of the policy, adding a social media policy that deals with Facebook, Twitter, all of those type of social sites and what it means to the employees working for the county commission.
So all new employees will be getting drug screening before they go to work here?
That's correct.
Okay. I'll accept a motion on the first policy change, which is remove appropriate medical and replace with successful drug screening. That is Section 3, subsection A.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. The second one, I'll accept a motion to. The second change is to add to subsection C, social media policy, and to Section 15, office technology and system use of the county employee policy manual. I'll accept a motion to accept that.
With question.
Go ahead, Mr. Schwartzman.
Once we pass this, it will be presented to everyone in the courthouse, every employee,
Yes, sir.
to sign off?
The policy manual will be placed online on our intranet server so that all the elected officials would have that at their disposal. We could make copies of the social media policy because there is, in fact, a last sheet to the policy that has each employee to read the policy and then turn that form in as acknowledging the fact that they've read it and they understand the content.
I think that's important.
Yes.
Thanks goes out to the assessor, Mr. Longi, who brought us into contact with that. Thank you, Mr. Longi. I think it's important.
Would also like to thank the Celine Major
Yes.
Law Firm to put the content in. It has all been reviewed through the elected officials' offices, so everybody had a chance to input into the policy.
Move to approve the policy change on social media.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Request approval of a proposal by JH Consulting Incorporated to complete the threat and hazard identification as risk assessment for Hancock County. Mr. Zelinski,
Yes, sir.
you've added a lot to the agenda today.
I do. This particular request is for the Jeff Harvey Consulting Company. We have used him throughout the years to provide our risk assessments. Pending a state grant of a little over $100,000, Jeff Harvey has to make sure that all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed in order for us to present to the state so we can be awarded that $100,000 grant. This is a little bit more than we have done in previous years, but basically it's a little bit more involved than it has been in previous years. So it's the reason for the $9,500, and that is a budgeted item within the Office of Emergency Management.
So we could get the grant without spending.
No, no, sir. I mean, we could attempt it ourselves, but prior to my arrival here 7 years ago, that was not a very good thing for us to do.
I'll accept a motion on that.
Move to approve the request for the identification risk assessment.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Dog warden, approval of monthly dog warden report for the month of February 2013.
We have barking dogs in here. I'm about ready to call them myself. Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of probate and estates.
Recommend approval as to form.
Move to
Thank you, Mr.
approve.
Fahey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of exoneration orders.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of general county bills.
$66,094.29, and the P card payments was $19,101.38.
Move to approve.
Cindy, we have some new press in here, so would you explain the P card versus the general county, if you would, just a
The P
second?
card is a purchasing card through the state of West Virginia. It's like a Visa card. We make the payments through that Visa card, and we receive a percentage back and a rebate from the state auditor's office every quarter.
Thank you. I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve. I thought I did.
You might have. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. I
Aye.
forgot by that time. Approval of Oakland PSD
There
bills.
are none.
Approval of fire allocation bills and requisitions.
There are none today.
Approval of library levy fund bills and
They're
requisitions.
in order to pay.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of animal shelter levy fund bills
I
and
have none
requisitions.
today.
None to pay?
No.
Shelter's workshop bills and requisitions.
I had one and it was okay to pay.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Counselor, anything to bring before us today?
Nothing today, sir.
Ms. Cindy? To the assessor. Mr. Zelinski?
Yes, sir. From last commission meeting, we had Mr. and Mrs. Curtis Pitcock presented a complaint to the commission regarding Hardin's Run Creek that was in the vicinity of their home. Office of Emergency Management went out the day after that meeting and took several pictures. I think the confusing part is that all that was stated to the commission by Mrs. Pitcock is somewhat inaccurate. I had a chance to go out on the February 27th, which was a day after it rained about
Oh,
24 hours. So we have pictures of the creek with hardly any water in it, and then pictures of the creek where the water has been running very high and fast. And we found no large rocks in the water. We found no trees in the creek. There are trees along the creek bed, which are by conservation statements, they prefer to have those because it helps with bank erosion. They have gabion baskets on both sides of the creek installed that would control the force and the flow of the water. And the house in question, Mr. Pitcock's mother's house, is not on the creek side, it's actually on Hardin's Run Road. So if there was an emergency for whatever flash flooding may have occurred in that area, first responders would be able to assist in getting her to safety. As far as telephone lines and power lines, where trees were growing up through, there's not any power lines within 50 feet of the properties. Power lines and telephone lines do bound the roadway, and they do go in and out of the tree lines, but that's typical all the way up through that section of road. So we found absolutely no issues with that complaint that was presented to the commission.
I also went out and looked at that, and we had a discussion this morning, Mr. Davis, about that on Pleasant Valley. The state did a great job on these
They did.
areas over the last flood, and I think they did a great job. And
Yes.
You're right, Mrs. Pitcock comes right out on Hardin's Run Road right there, so,
Right.
so I didn't see anything issues there. So if they come back, we will, have
I
that.
have the report, and we'll make it as a matter of record in case they do come back. We do have the pictures and my statement.
Good, thank
Ms. Eleanor,
No, I have nothing.
you might want to mention, we talked about it yesterday and today, about the polling sites. You might want to put that out there for the public, as we're looking forward, going forward.
Well, I talked to Danny, with the new school opening next year, the new elementary school in Weirton. We use some of the other schools, Liberty, Broadview, Weirton Elementary, as our polling sites. We'll be all right for the primary election, but for the general election, they will be
By
moved
November.
into the new school. And I know in the bond call, it is required that those other schools be torn down. So we might run into a problem for the general election. We're going to see about trying to place them in the new school and maybe another one in Weir Middle School. And maybe, I know there's a couple churches maybe around that we can use, but, we will be notifying anyone associated with those polling sites. We will notify everybody by mail for whatever change. But I thought I'd give Danny a year's heads up.
They seem to be in his district.
They are in his district.
We'll probably have a lot of people call about that because it pays extraordinary amount of money, $65 to be there. So, we'll probably have people just calling crazy to get that. Steve, you didn't smile on that one. I usually laugh at our jokes. Keep up, Steve. Commissioner Schwartzmiller.
Yes, I have two issues. One is the last meeting, my editorial was on curfews, which we're not going to say curfews now. We're going to say Youth Protection Ordinance,
YPO.
also known as YPO.
There you go.
And what I did a lot of research and homework. Almost every county, every city has one. But I found Charleston, West Virginia's ordinance. And then what was ironic about it was it's already been challenged. And it went to the state Supreme Court. And other than one paragraph, or two little subsections in this one paragraph, it was upheld by the court. So I thought, what better one to model after than one that's already been to the state Supreme Court, because some of them challenged these. Of course, I went through and made changes. I took out the part that the judge questioned. Of course, the times would be different. So what I've done is I have a copy for us, for you to look at, for the commission to look at. I've given a copy to the sheriff. I would like to give a copy and talk to the magistrates to give it their blessing, especially on the penalty phase of it. And so maybe put this on the agenda for the next commission meeting.
Good work.
It's kind of fun. I like doing that. So that'll be called the Youth Protection Ordinance of Hancock County. Now, of course, this is a county ordinance, but it would not apply to the cities unless the cities chose to adopt it for uniformity or whatever. So this is really for the unincorporated areas of our county: Manchester, Newell, Congo area, Swearingen Hill, anything outside the city limits. This is what this ordinance would address. So we'll present that on the next agenda. since I had so much fun doing that, I talked to some people about the abandoned, people have been concerned about abandoned vehicles. Historically, for a long time, they've been talking about what can we do about abandoned vehicles. Actually, the sheriff brought it up today to us. He said something like, give us some teeth into what we can do on these vehicles that are abandoned throughout the county. So I'm going to do a little research on that. My first thought was, and I don't know if you have a thought on this, but we have abandoned building committee. Could we just add that to our abandoned building? Could we put in the, I'm not sure, because they do our abandoned building committee does a great job of looking out at structures. Maybe we could put a tag on that to include vehicles or, I was talking to Mr. Zielinski earlier, and he said, or all properties, whether personal properties, it could be boats, abandoned, whatever. So I'm going to do a little research for the next time on it.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I have 3 things today. One of the things I wanted to bring up, Commissioner Davis couldn't be here today because he had to take his father to the hospital in Pittsburgh. His father was in a hospital in Weirton. He said it's not life-threatening, but he's had a series of setbacks, so he has taken him to the hospital. So I've asked all of you out there to keep your prayers for Mr. Davis out there. Second thing, and Mr. Smith may answer for this, Ms. Jackie Huff I thought was going to be here today to talk about the smoking ordinance in the county, and she's not here. I have had a request, Cindy, if you could find me the members of that board and when their expiration dates is on their terms.
Yeah, but Karen actually had that out there.
Okay, I'd like to know that. Those 2 things, and I'll get Jackie here the next meeting to do it. And the third thing would be the football stadiums that we have acquired. We've had a lot of questions, and it's been kind of interesting, and we had one again today. I had met with a school district who was interested in buying the bleachers at the Weir High Stadium on the visitor side. And we've actually had another school district who's interested in buying the bleachers on the home side, plus wants to look at the football scoreboards and everything like that. So I am going to put out today for a bid. The Hancock County Commission will accept sealed bids for the visitors seating section at Weir High Football Stadium. The stadium's bleachers are made of aluminum and treated lumber. Bids will be accepted until 12 noon on March 28th and will be opened by the County Commission meeting on March 28th. Bidding will begin at $15,000, and the bleachers should be removed from Weir High Stadium by May 31st. That is my motion to do that bid, Commissioner Schwartzmiller.
What was your bid deadline there?
The
Don't we have
28th.
to put notices in the paper? Is that enough time?
We've got 3 weeks.
We get
Yes.
time? Yeah, okay. That was my question.
Yes, we have 3 weeks because we had to move our meeting for the 21st to 28th
Well, that's right.
Correct.
because of Mr. Smith. That's right, he couldn't be here. It's on a golf trip. Okay. I'll accept that motion.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. I don't know that we did have budget hearings today, and we're finishing up our budget. I saw Weirton's got their budget in, and we're working on our budget, and we'll probably be hopefully having something very soon. We need to come back in, do we not, Cindy?
We'll have some work sessions, which you'll officially be approving it on that 28th meeting. This is
Okay.
good in Charleston on that day, I believe.
Yeah, you need to email the 3 of us to see when we can come back in and sit down and talk about that. Because I believe Commissioner Davis and I are going to speak with the sheriff this weekend, so we'll take care of that. Having said all that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
And we are going to reconvene on the 28th, not the 21st.
The 28th, we'll be back here. So moved?
So moved.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We are adjourned.